I kneel only to God, and I don't see him here. Yes, guys, welcome back to Fog Entertainment. We are going with another character spotlight, and this time we are going to Prison Break. And we are looking at John Abruzzi, damn it. He's one of my favourite characters from the show. And you know what? I feel like I look at him because, of course, spoiler alert, he does die within the first 2 seasons. And I feel like it's just easier to look at somebody who only spanned like 2 seasons. Like, if you're looking at a main character who spanned across like 5, 6, 7, 8 seasons of a TV show, you're looking at a severe, long video, big man. But we're going to dive into this and we're going to lay the smack down. But anyway, we're going to have to kick it off with John Abruzzi's background. He was the Don of the Abruzzi family of the Chicago Mafia, and of course he was convicted and sentenced for 2 accounts of conspiracy to murder. Abruzzi ordered a hit on Fibonacci, who was entered into the witness protection program by the government, while Abruzzi was sentenced to 120 years without parole, which leads to a whole montage. Fibonacci, 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 Fibonacci. Of course, he did have a family though. His wife was Sylvia Abruzzi, and he had 3 kids. He had 1 daughter, Nicole Abruzzi, John Abruzzi Jr., and of course Luca Abruzzi, who we didn't actually see in the main show. It just seems to like appear like they literally just made him up, right? It's weird though because he is a bit older, you'd assume, than the other Abruzzi family members. So for that reason, they kind of made him up. Lincoln's working for him in season 5, but I guess we could maybe potentially look at him. Of course, he is played by Peter Strumore, that is John Abruzzi, and he appeared firstly in the pilot, and his last appearance was First Down. He had a 20 episode count, which is mad, but you know what? Of course, he did go missing for a wee bit, but we'll have to get to that later on. But where do we begin, guys? We begin with the pilot of Prison Break. It was a very highly rated episode. It got a 10.51. Make sure you check out the 10 highest Prison Break episodes of all time here on Fog Entertainment. But John Abruzzi is in Fox River, of course. Michael Schofield makes his way in. He's sitting with Sucre at the fence. He's like, is that John Abruzzi? And Sucre's like, that's John Abruzzi, John Abruzzi. John Abruzzi, John Abruzzi. And like just an epic way to introduce this character. Just puts him over. The fact that Schofield says his name twice and Sucre says his name twice just means that this guy has a certain level of importance not many people could understand. And of course, Schofield has weaved Abruzzi into his own magical plan here at the prison. Of course, Abruzzi in charge of the prison industry. He is like essentially enjoying celebrity status here in the prison because of course he is the Don of the Abruzzi family, and this prison is in Chicago of all places, so of course it is going to be making a big deal. Fox River, lovely jubbly, and he was highly respected within the prison, but you know, it was more to do with fear. His inmate number was 8104, but he did decide to join Michael after Michael was, you know, pressing him a wee bit to join. Of course, Michael leverages the whole Fibonacci over his head, which prompts Big John Abruzzi to, you know what, I'll tag team with you, Michael. So initially, the crew to get out is very small. You've only got Michael, you've got Abruzzi, and you've got Lincoln at that point in which they meet in the shed. But Lincoln and Abruzzi don't really want to work with each other. They butt heads. Michael, of course, due to this whole beef with Abruzzi, gets his toes cut off. But even after that, like that beef never really gets brought up because Michael knows what needs to be done, and that is break his brother out of jail. Abruzzi then enlists the help of fellow inmate Teabag to wipe out Michael Schofield. But of course, that's not what he does here. He basically leverages Teabag, beats him up, and lets Michael know that here, that could have very easily been you, my friend. And of course, we do see this is the beginning of the Abruzzi and Teabag feud, which is absolutely, it's insane. I think it's one of the more like underrated feuds of a TV show, if we're being brutally honest. Of course, like Abruzzi just does not want to work with Teabag, but of course, when Teabag discovers the hole in the prison riot and the thing, he's forced into the escape crew. So we've got the likes of Sucre in there, we have got DB Cooper in there, we've got the entire team in there, we've got everybody in here, man, willing to do it. And Abruzzi looks like he's going to kill Teabag, we do have the whole thing where Abruzzi wipes out James B, who is the cousin of Teabag, but accidentally kills Teabag's nephew. It was cool seeing like an emotional side of Teabag, I guess, early on in the series, but it just showed you like at this point of Prison Break, you're like 7, 8 episodes in, and what a job they've done. Honestly, like what a job they've done of like making these characters feel important for a fairly early point. Because if you look at TV shows, like if you're 7, 8 episodes in, not everybody feels important in certain TV shows, but here, Prison Break absolutely hit the nail on the head. But the Abruzzi Teabag feud hit boiling point when Abruzzi decided not to kill him. Teabag, obviously, though, feeling, pretty shat on here by Abruzzi, takes matters into his own hands. It proves to be a mistake, though, and Teabag takes the opportunity pretty much immediately straight after Abruzzi decides to let him live and slashes Abruzzi's throat with a razor blade. And I remember watching this for the first time and I thought Abruzzi was dead. I was like, holy god, man, this is epic. This is some epic television happening right in front of our TV screens right here. Abruzzi manages to get evacuated from Fox River, and of course it complicates Michael's plan because Abruzzi, main part of him being a part of this entire escape plan was the fact that he could supply a getaway vehicle, but now with him out of the picture, they had to come up with a different plan. So the inmates tried to escape, but during all this, we didn't really know about Abruzzi's condition. We thought John Abruzzi might have been dead. Teabag obviously not best pleased at seeing that Abruzzi had returned. Abruzzi did return over a week later. I believe it was like a 5-episode gap. Everyone thought he was dead, and it was just an epic return, like easily one of the best moments of the show. I mean, they're lucky because he could have very easily not rat. I mean, I guess it would have been ratting them out, but he probably would have felt like here, I'm not going to let Teabag escape. A bastard slit my throat. But of course, Abruzzi kind of went down this gimmick of here. I found God. I have found God. So he does returns to the whole escape plot. Him and Teabag have like a peace treaty, would you call it that? They come to agreements, they come to terms, but I mean, you can look at this as one of two ways. You can either look at it as like Abruzzi's doesn't want to kill Teabag and he's willing to put water under the bridge. Is that because he did kill his nephew and he felt like they were even? Even though like Teabag's a dirty pedophile bastard, I feel like Abruzzi has got 2 kids of his own, well 3 kids actually, and would be willing to he would just be willing to kill Teabag for any sort of excuse. You would like to think. Well, that's my personal opinion. I mean, the guy's a paedophile. You feel like most people inside this prison would want to just kill Teabag for the sake of it. But Abruzzi spares him, and that's another. Did he spare him thinking that he could kill him at a later opportunity, or did he feel like if he threatened him, Teabag might have blown the whistle on the whole escape plan? Maybe that's what he was thinking about, because I guess that makes a bit of sense. In terms of that regard. And then throughout the next couple of episodes, we are trying to escape. We managed, of course, I don't really need to go over the whole escape. I feel like we'll do that once we review the show one day. But yeah, we, of course, escape through the infirmary. The infirmary window. Everyone makes over the fence apart from Fat Boy. Charles Westmoreland dies, of course. D.P. Cooper's dead. We all make over the fence, and this sets up one hell of a finale. But during this escape, Teabag handcuffs himself to Michael in order to like guarantee his safety, because of course he's handcuffed. So if they kill Teabag, Michael would have to drag 200 pound dead weight, which of course prompts the group into not being able to kill Teabag. Even though I'm pretty sure once they're over these walls, it's pretty much every man for themselves and they're willing to work together. But yeah, and of course they do split up for Haywire, but Haywire's the only guy who gets left behind here. And Tweener as well. Michael tells Tweener to piss off. If everybody knew you were a rat, god damn it, who knows what would happen to you. Lincoln, Abruzzi and Sucre make it to a barn before Teabag, and Michael, of course, those two are handcuffed and slowing each other down, which prompts these two to come to the conclusion. They hold Michael and Teabag down. They're trying to get the cuffs off, but Teabag starts laughing. But then Abruzzi goes and he just grabs an axe, and again, in one of the most iconic scenes in Prison Break, he just cuts Teabag's arm, completely clean off. And to be honest, like Sucre and Lincoln and Michael looked at Abruzzi here as if he was like a psychopath. And I'm not saying like cutting somebody's limbs off doesn't make you that, but it had to be done. Like, also, he's done it to Teabag for a genuine reason, because he had Michael attached, and this just makes life a lot easier for Michael Scofield. So they leave Teabag to die. You can maybe say now he's even with Teabag. They're one each. Teabag slit his throat and he's cut Teabag's hand off here. And then the season ends. We get to the airstrip, but the plane that was supposed to wait for them doesn't wait, so they take off. And that is how season 1 ends, damn it. We're still on the run. What a cliffhanger, man. Just so looking forward to season 2 with that cliffhanger. Honestly, season 1 of Prison Break, man, it is easily up there with one of the best seasons in TV history. Easily. And as we dive into season 2, we're immediately on the run. They manage to get past the train, and as the crew are trying to make their way to a graveyard in order to dig up supplies, they run into this man and his daughter who are on a hunting trip. And he points a gun at them. You feel like, oh fuck, is this the Fox River 8 done at this point? Well, I'll say the Fox River 8. We're down to like 5 guys, but 2 guys are like AWOL. Well, 3 guys are AWOL. Teabag's hand's hanging off. Tweener, we don't know where he is. And then Haywire, who knows what Haywire's literally doing. But at this point, Abruzzi then holds the kid, who's like 9 years old, 10 years old, hostage, points a gun at her head, and which prompts the father to drop the gun. Then they take his car and then they drive off to the graveyard. But this was met with a lot of hostile response for the group, right? And I understand, so from a point of view, like Lincoln's a father, C-Note's a father, and Sucre and Michael are just genuinely nice guys, but can they not understand why Abruzzi did this? I don't understand the whole... Like, they made it as if it was completely unnecessary. See here, if he doesn't do this, I mean, literally, like, this could have ended in them going absolutely... It could have been an absolute disaster. Honestly, it could have been an absolute disaster. They then head to Oswego, so they dig all the stuff up in the cemetery, but they feel like they're being watched, because of course at this point we have Agent Mahomes, who's been tasked with hunting down the Fox River 8. So we have Sucre, C-Note, Abruzzi, and the brothers eating in a warehouse. We've got Abruzzi eating chicken wings. He's like, yummy. I don't know, very weird scene, but you know what, it's still pretty cool and funny, so I'm not going to deny it too much. Also, the clothes that Michael gave him don't fit Abruzzi, because obviously Abruzzi's a bit taller than the clothes intended for Michael and Lincoln. And then at this point, Sino, Abruzzi, and Sucre all go their separate ways. So Abruzzi's went their separate ways. It's sad. This is like the final time you see them all together. Well, like with Abruzzi, of course. They were never really like pally with Abruzzi, but yeah, sad it was. So Abruzzi then, he reunites with his family, which his wife is happy about until she finds out that he's going after the bastard witness. He's going after Fibonacci. Like, I can totally understand why his wife's annoyed here, but she knows what that life's all about. I mean, like, he could have... He was just so obsessed with Otto Fibonacci, man. And he finds out that he was staying at a motel outside of Washington, D.C. He questioned it, and then once it was confirmed that he was there, he decided to go to it. His wife's pleas, like his crew even said that they would handle it. He's about to go on a cargo ship with his family to Sardinia. He could have had that life, but you know, it's the mob life. He didn't want to go out like an absolute shitebag. And he also says to his wife here that he would rather die than go back to prison. Well, the sad thing is here for John Abruzzi, he's walking into a trap, being set up here by Agent Mahoney. Walks in, Abruzzi sadly finds out that Fibonacci is not there, and it turns out at this point he's been set up by none other than Agent Mahone. And Mahone lets him know, you need to lower your weapon, and surrounding you are serious guys, and they were instructed to shoot at the first sign of aggression. So out comes Big John. Mahone says, you're going back to Fox River today or the morgue. He goes, that's your call. Put your hands behind your head and kneel. Abruzzi then gives one final scan of the area. I kneel only to God, and I don't see him here. Abruzzi raises his gun, Mahone takes cover, and the FBI team, damn it, they fire all the assault rifle rounds into John Abruzzi's body. It's his final stand. I mean, honestly, I'd say it's one of the most badass deaths in TV history. He's like, fuck, am I going back to jail? And he gets hit with about 10,000 bullets, and he hits the ground, he dies. R.I.P. John Abruzzi. Absolutely epic scene. I was so sad that he died, but after reading it, like, the actor wanted to leave, and seeing how the show went, like if you think of it, like later down the line, like a lot of them get immunity and they work together with Bellic. And the fact that Abruzzi's got his mob connections, would that really have worked later down the line? Like, say he got on that cargo ship, why would he have come back into the show? I feel like it was a big death to have early on in season 2, and it would have been a bit cheap if he just jumped on the cargo ship and escaped, even if his wife did want that. So yeah, guys, that is where John Abruzzi dies. But it's not where this video dies. Because of course we do hear mentions of him like after his death. There is like loads of comments. Teabag saying that Abruzzi's taking his dirt nap, and he says the Fox River 8 should be referred to as the Fox River 7. Lincoln also and Michael hear about Abruzzi's demise on the radio, and they say, Lincoln goes, I didn't think Abruzzi would be the first to go down. No, like you would think Abruzzi would survive, but the fact that he's like the most volatile and like, you know, he's a mob boss, I mean, I guess of all the guys, he'd probably be like the least likely to surrender, and he literally did say that. And he is seen in a few episodes in season 2 and like archive footage. But as we move on to season 4, he does appear in a dream that Michael has when he's talking with Charles Westmoreland and he's on the wall. We also have in season 5 the fact that Lincoln has been working for his son, but that is the last name of John Abruzzi. That is the last time he gets mentioned, guys. And you know what? A really good character. I've honestly... No, I wish he was in it a bit longer, but I think it was almost done perfectly for what he was. And if you look at like Abruzzi, if I was to compare him to a character, I would say he's like Shane for The Walking Dead. I feel like his death, it was almost perfect. Like Shane could have lasted a bit longer, but like they added so much to the show, and when they died, it took so much away from the show at the same time. So I'm going to give John Abruzzi a 9 out of 10. A 9 out of 10 is a very, very high rating, and for me, easily one of my favourite characters in TV history. Is he the best? No, but sure as hell, man, he was a badass. He has so many badass moments and sayings, and he died a badass. There's so many iconic moments with him, and his feud with Teabag is like I'd say one of the best feuds in TV as well. So, yeah, guys, John Abruzzi, Fibonacci. I'm going to give him a 9 out of 10.